Yes, he is. And I think we can agree, Stephen A., that we're not talking about LeBron James or Luka Doncic, who are point guards, but they don't guard the other team's guards usually, so let's call them point forwards. We're putting those guys aside. The answer is yes. Because part of this stuff is predicting and trajectory. And as great as Steph Curry has been, Damian Lillard's 2 years younger and has taken the next step. You know, Steph Curry showed the way. But Damian Lillard saw that, and he's shooting from a million miles away and hitting, and is completely unstoppable offensively. And then when you look to this year, not only is his game still ascending, where Curry's has plateaued, but it's ascending, and now he has certain pieces on the team. When you examine these two guys' teams, in fact, Damian Lillard's life is going to be a little easier on the Blazers than Steph Curry's is going to be on the Warriors, I think. And all that means to me, it adds up to, I think, Damian Lillard in this coming season will be the best true, we're not talking about the LeBron and Doncic, point guard in the NBA.
You're wrong, but I respect where you're coming from. Because I love me some Dame Lillard, man. I'm so happy that he got his money. I love the fact that he got that $250 million extension. His agent, Aaron and Eric Goodwin, negotiated the largest contract in NBA history. Major props to them for the job that they've done. They've been exceptional for years. But I tell you something right now. Damian Lillard is a player. He is a winner. He's Mr. Clutch. He's a leader. And he's an incredible individual and a great role model as far as I'm concerned. I got a lot of love for Damian Lillard, but he ain't no Steph Curry. And I'm going to tell you something, Max Kellerman. Damian Lillard averaged 30 this past season. Damian Lillard shot 40% from three-point range last year. Did you know, Max Kellerman, that's the first time Damian Lillard shot 40% from three-point range in his career? Steph Curry did it every year for the first 10 years in his career. He has never shot in less than 42% from three-point range in his career, with the exception of the 20 games that he played after he came off an injury last season. Yeah, that's it. So the first 10 years of his career, he did what Damian Lillard just did for the first time. Now, obviously, that total game doesn't come with that. And we understand how elite, because I think Damian Lillard is one of the great point guards and one of the great scoring point guards the game has ever seen. I think he's destined for the Hall of Fame. He's that special. But what makes Steph Curry special that I don't think you give enough appreciation to Max Kellerman, along with a lot of NBA players, present and former, by the way, is this one important fact. It's not just the fact that Steph Curry is such a marksman. His movement without the basketball is unreal. He's always on the move. Why is that so important? Because you can't even set your defense right, because you got to know where he's at every single second. Dame has the ball in his hands. It's Dame's that's deciding if he's going to shoot or he's going to pass. It's Dame's who's deciding whether he's going to shoot or whether somebody else is going to shoot. He's doing all of these things. Even though Steph Curry is your point guard and he brings the ball up the court, he is such a sniper extraordinaire that he instantly gives the ball up, and you spend like 60 to 65 to 75% of your offense in terms of that shot clock trying to find him just to get him the ball back. That element right there makes him so profoundly lethal. That's the difference between him and Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard don't move like that without the ball the way Steph Curry does.
Look, we were yelling at each other earlier in the show, and this is a more polite debate because I can't really argue against those points. Steph Curry is special because just because two guys shoot doesn't mean they shoot the same. No one's ever shot like Steph Curry with that kind of mobility coupled with that kind of shooting. The other thing that makes Steph special is the fact that the ball doesn't stick with him, right? Like, it just makes him different. But what I'm saying about Damian Lillard is, as you would say, he's on the come up. Damian Lillard was born with ice water in his veins. You know, Steph Curry had to get there. Steph Curry against LeBron James, not saying Damian Lillard's always been perfect in the playoffs. Drew Holiday did a number on him, and team defense did too, as he points out, as Lillard points out. But Steph Curry was running the best half-court offense in the history of basketball, couldn't score in the last 4.5 minutes in a Game 7 at home. In a 73-win team and lost the finals. That's not Damian Lillard to me, Stephen A. Damian Lillard was born with the clutch gene. And he's 2 years younger and still getting better. Here's the other thing. Steph Curry tries to play defense. He's just not very good at it. But he is a guy who's present defensively. Damian Lillard, to me, went from a guy who didn't play defense, he wasn't even really trying, it looked to me early in his career, to a pretty good defender. I actually think Damian Lillard is an underrated defender right now, especially in high-leverage situations. I've seen him mature that way, and between the two, I'll take Lillard on defense. Between the two, I'll take Lillard's trajectory. Right. Between the two, I'll take Lillard's clutch gene. So all in all, to me, that's in a very close competition.
All right.
Lillard.
Well, it just reminded me that this is the greatest shooter since mankind existed. I've never seen a shooter greater than Steph Curry. I mean, it's off the dribble, it's spot up, it's anywhere on the floor, it's his movement without the basketball, it's catch and shoot, it's taking you off the dribble, it's spotting up. This brother is the greatest shooter we have ever seen. Period. And when you take that into consideration and you just tickle your imagination as to when Clay gets back, the Golden State Warriors will be back at the very least in the conference finals because they're just too lethal of marksmen to ignore. I want to put this into consideration. Steph Curry is considered to be struggling. He is averaging 32 points on 45% shooting from the field, 36% shooting from three-point range, and that's considered struggling. Oh, by the way, he's shooting 98% from the free throw line. I mean, this is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. This is who he is. The first 10 years of his career, this man has shot better than 40% from three-point range. The first 10 years of his career. We celebrate people who do it once. And this dude did it the first 10 years. He is the greatest shooter man has ever seen. I know it sounds hyperbolic. It's not. It is not an exaggeration. I don't care whether you bring in Bird, whether you bring in Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Chris Mullin. I don't give a damn. There has never been a shooter this great. And when Clay gets back, look the hell out. Golden State is going to be immediately back in championship contention. And by the way, I like that kid Wiseman.
Well, he's clearly the greatest shooter ever. He's a mobile artillery unit because he can go get his own shot, and he invented shooting it from a million miles away, which created even more space. You know, how can you change the NBA? Make it a 4-point shot if it's farther away. So it didn't occur to people, no, it's all right to shoot it from 10 feet behind the arc if you can hit it regularly, which he can, which opens up the whole offense. He revolutionized the game. And by the way, for years, I thought he was not a clutch shooter, Stephen A. I saw it in the playoffs. I don't care what anyone says. You go back and look at the highest leverage moments. I thought, why is Steph not as good here as he normally is? Shooting the ball. Even that started to change. Even that started to change. You know, that started to change. Given enough reps, he's now deadly in the clutch with the ball in his hand. It wasn't always that way. It is now. This is what I was thinking yesterday. This is what I took from the performance. And like a lot of people, I was watching football. and keeping track of what was going on in the basketball game. Oh my God, Steph went for 31 at the half. Now he's up to 40-something. Now he's up to 50-something, 62. Stephen A., there have been more athletic point guards than Steph, obviously. Allen Iverson or Russell Westbrook, MVPs who are clearly more gifted athletically overall, right? There have been better two-way point guards than Steph Curry. Chris Paul or Isaiah Thomas, right, or John Stockton. There have been players who've done a lot of what Steph has done. Steve Nash. Although Steph is really Nash 2.0 because he doesn't need to monopolize the ball. It doesn't stick with him, and he shoots it even better than Nash. But when I look at the history of the NBA, you take away Magic Johnson, right? Modern NBA. Take away Magic, who's 6'8", 6'9". He is a point guard, and he's the greatest ever. But I'm talking about of the regular-sized point guards. Steph's the best who ever did it. He's the greatest of all time. And for all the reasons I just mentioned. Ball doesn't stick. Unselfish player who can score from anywhere, who makes all his teammates better shooters. And by the way, he's not a good defender because he's not big. He's wiry. He's not so long. But he plays defense. It's not like he's not there. Go ahead.
Steph Curry the other day in practice, Max, made 105 straight three-pointers. 105.
Yeah, stupid.
Straight three-pointers without a miss. Steve Kerr had the joke of the year when he sat up there and said he choked. He didn't get to 106. You understand? 105 straight
anything 105 times in a row.
Can you imagine how motivated he must be having to sit all last year and then Clay goes down? I mean, it's like his back's against the wall, and he's just showing us who he is.
He's motivating the triple teaming and trapping him and all of that stuff, but he's special.
Yeah, of course. And then he's not playing around.
Changed the game.